All right, so I wanted to go a bit more under the hood for those that are curious about the way that we at South Shore Analytics might set up an analytics stack, a DBT project. DBT is a tool used to organize your data warehouse essentially. So we typically use Snowflake for our data warehouse, and we'll set up a way to get raw data into Snowflake, but then we use DBT to create a bunch of clean data sets that are basically a series of SQL queries that take our raw data, transform it into something usable downstream in our business intelligence tool for data scientists to use. If we wanted to just pop into Snowflake and run ad hoc reporting queries, we could use those analytics tables for that. That's what DBT is for. I wanted to demo a little bit for potential customers of ours how we do it, but also just to give other analysts and aspiring analysts a bit of an insight into how you could start to set up these types of projects on your own. So the way that I've been building this project, super simple so far, but basically I'm using DuckDB, which is, it's kind of like a local data warehouse for lack of a better description or terminology. It allows you to just spin up a database kind of like right in memory super quickly. And so I'm using it just primarily as for demo purposes. And then, I started by creating a new project directory called Select Star. That's what we're calling a product that we're planning to launch here pretty soon at South Shore. I created a virtual Python environment, and I'm using a virtual environment to make sure that we manage our Python packages clearly and separately from any other projects that I might have on my machine. And then I initialized my DBT project. So the first thing I did is I got into my virtual environment. I ran a command to install DBT with pre-configured capabilities to connect to DuckDB. And so the way that looked is I just ran pip install DBT Duck DB. It really shouldn't do anything because I've already installed that. But then I also ran DBT init, and I named my DBT project Select Star because that's the name of kind of the project I'm working in. I won't run it because it's already set up, but what that did is it created this folder structure on the left-hand side that has a bunch of different DBT related folders. It's got a DBT project YAML file, which I haven't actually adjusted at all yet, but I've started to put a couple of data models in here. I'll show you that more shortly. I have a profiles.yaml file that I'm using to connect to DuckDB database. That file's in another project folder, but I just copy and pasted the YAML file here so you could see it. Pretty straightforward. Select Star is the name of my project. Target is dev, and then I defined the dev output below. It's a DuckDB connector. My DuckDB database file is called selectstar.duckdb. You can see it right here. And the schema that I'm pointing to is called main. So I didn't really change any default configurations here, but just wanted to point out that that's how I'm connecting to the DuckDB instance that I spun up. And a use case that I want to talk through today quickly is something that we see for a lot of our clients. We work with a lot of multi-location companies, think restaurant chains, or a collection of clinics of some sort, or you could think of a collection of laundromats. Basically any company that has multiple storefronts. There's a way that we like to set up our reporting structure in DBT to make downstream reporting a lot easier. And so if you're at all familiar with Kimball dimensional modeling, one of the things that we always do in our projects is create a calendar dimension table that basically has a row populated for every date in some relevant time frame that we might ever want to analyze in our reporting. But we also like to create a dim locations data set that has a record for every location that the business has under their umbrella. And then we really like to create basically a location day harness table that helps out whenever you might need to create aggregated reporting by location, by day, across multiple different data sets. And so an example of something that like an issue that we've run into in the past that caused us to start doing this as kind of a template for our clients is, let's say you have revenue data in one data set and you have Google reviews data in another data set. What what might be thought of as the easiest way to build kind of like a combined data set for both your revenue and your reviews would be to have one table that shows kind of like a subquery or a CTE that's basically revenue by day by location, and then left join in your Google reviews by day by location. The problem with this approach, as simple as it seems, is that if you don't have revenue on a certain day that you did have Google reviews on, you would be missing reviews data in your downstream data set, or like count of reviews data, since it would be an aggregated data set. So I'm just going to walk through a quick example of how we've kind of set up this process that makes sure that we're always working off a harness table, meaning that every single date and location combination will have a record for any reporting type data sets that we like to build. So the first thing we do is we build what's called a date spine table. So I'll run this query. I've been using Claude Code and Cursor a ton for generating these types of queries just to build these harnesses. But I basically said, give me a data set for every day between January 1, 2020 and December 31st, 2029. So essentially the whole decade. And then a whole bunch of helpers here so that we can see the date, day, year number, month number, day number, month name, day name. There's all kinds of other flags we could add, like is a holiday, is a payroll day, any sort of internal business logic you might have here. So that's the date spine. I also created locations data set with a seed file. Sorry, I need to change my folder. I might need to update my sources. Oh, I need to run DBT seed. Then this might work. Basically, I created a seed file that has some dummy location data. And so now, this is more for example, just so I can show you guys what a location dimension table might look like, but it's got key information like the location name, address, internal ID, region that helps for downstream reporting, market, which helps for downstream reporting, opening date, maybe we only want our harness to be before or like inclusive of days that are after the opening date of the specific location. All kinds of helpful information in here that we can use for downstream reporting in our BI tool. And so the way that we structure our projects, South Shore, is we'll have a staging folder in DBT, we'll have an intermediate folder. We're not doing anything with that in this particular tutorial because I'm basically just saying that the staging data is clean enough. I would use intermediate models to clean up data or do simple joins for tables that might not both need to be exposed in our marts layer. But then we've created a dim calendar table, which doesn't have too much, basically it just took our staging table and enriched it with more information. So let's see, we got an error for some parsing. For sake of example, I'm actually just going to make our dim calendar everything from our date spine table because honestly it's got what I need. So I'm going to rebuild my DBT run select stage date spine, and then now we've got all kinds of different dates in this dim calendar table. Then I've got my dim locations table, which is essentially my staging locations table, but there's just this shows some examples of additional transformation we might make, like how long has it been open? Was the location mature or is it established? Otherwise it's new. We group different types of metros. Is it a major metro, a large metro, a mid-sized metro? That type of thing. So this kind of shows an example of like the staging data. We wouldn't make any modifications to it, just bringing in the source only. But then in our dimensional table, or maybe we would handle some of this in an intermediate model, we're going to go ahead and add some additional transformations in here. And the nice thing about DBT is you can manage all these definitions centrally so that if you try to pull this information into your reporting layer, it's all been defined in one place. It's version controlled. Somebody else on your team can see how you've defined certain fields in your BI reporting. And then finally, this, I'm going to go ahead and just say select all. But this kind of file is basically the backbone of that day location harness I was talking about. And so I'm actually just going to go ahead and say, so yeah, actually this is interesting. We're only going to include dates after location opened. There's some additional kind of calculated measures in here, like months since opening, weeks since opening, quarter since opening. I am going to see if I can't clean up some of the calendar attributes. I basically just want to pull everything that isn't date day, since we're already calling that above. All the location information. And I'll get rid of this. I don't need that. I'm going to get rid of our seasonal context. Those would be helpful columns to have, but I just want to show this for sake of example right now. Dim calendar does not exist, so let's go ahead and try to run the entire project, because that should create it. And nice. So now what I can show you is that we have a date location harness that can now be used for downstream reporting in our BI tool, and we can be certain that we'll never miss a day just because one data source doesn't have data for a location on a given day and another one does. So I'm going to record more videos kind of building out this sample data stack, but I think this is a good foundational place to start any sort of multi-location roll-up business reporting architecture. And yeah, you can see that we've got all of our location characteristics in one place, and we've got our date characteristics in one place, which can be fleshed out further. All right, hopefully it was a little bit helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I'm excited to kind of flesh out a full analytics stack tutorial for you.